I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We work hard in a life, hustle every day and all in a night. Man a hunt for the goal and a dig it in a road and a live no life. I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. Right now me a seek time for myself and me a shell down some party. Be stressed. Me a look for a recess. For me brain me a refresh. This a game me a reset. Move to the girl inna the beach dress. The body a roll she a the neatest. She nah no man, nah that a the weakness. So me the in her ears but not like a real pest. Nah, just a move with a vibe. Because we a poor, the mood is alive. If you do 9 to 5 I know you a get rich, you do realize. I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. Right now we are poor, kulu rump and NSC with Campari. That is it. Move to that girl, the vanity. What is it? You know see me attack low the politics. Watch it twist. No one see no ratchet flick, no matic click. No negative energy, a positive. One way I keep the peace and no magic trick. We are dance till in icon. We are groove, we are vibe. And no care, no fear right off. Make it on with your life. Me say, me no want see you leave yet. Me no want see you depressed. We are party for de-stress. We work hard in a life. Hustle every day and all in a night. Man a hunt for the goal and I mash up the road and I live no life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Be stressed. Me a look for a recess. For me brain me a refresh. This a game me a reset. Move to the girl inna the beach dress. The body a roll she a the neatest. She nah no man so that a the weakness. So me the inna it here that a no real test. Nah. Alright, Shalom Israel. Welcome again to another ISUPK Wednesday night law class. My name is Priest and Officer 500 Kayadwan Banyamyan, which means, you know what I mean, Kayadwan, son of Benjamin, from the tribe of Benjamin, you understand? Out of ISUPK Jamaica, under commanding General YAHANNA. I say, Yahweh Ba'asham Yawashai Barakatham to my brothers. Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba'asham Yawashai to my sisters. Alright, so again, for those who don't know about the ISUPK, the ISUPK is your last and only hope in times like these. In these times of uncertainty, where, you know what I mean, many of our people are confused as to what to do, whether to, you know what I mean, times have become so immoral. See? Our people don't know what to do, who to follow, whether to conform to the immorality of today's time, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because, all right, watch this now. In many cases, people might say things and times change. See? So some people just conform. So, not for the immorality that we would have never accepted in time past. Many people just adjust and accept it. See? Because according to them, times change. Or some people go over into belief systems that, you know what I mean, was just created by the oppressor to distract us, you know what I mean, or turn to Christianity because these are the last days. And indeed, these are the last days, but not by Christian standards. Christianity has been saying that for decades, millennia, not millennia, centuries. See? So apparently, they have something wrong. Apparently,
for them interpretation of the Bible is incorrect. See? Some people turn to Rastafariism. Some people just decide, say, yo, me not care. You know what I mean? We're going to just get high, be a Rasta, you know what I mean? And or be some Pan-Africanist that does do drugs, you know what I mean? Forget about the problems of this world. Listen to conspiracy theorists and theories, you know what I mean, out there, and just hope for the best. Well, we are here to tell you that the ISUPK is the truth, the right thing to follow, and your only and last hope if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You know what I mean? Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian are the 12 lost tribes of Israel. You know what I mean? And this Bible that the Christian church have been waving and flaunting does not belong to Christianity, nor do it belong to the oppressor, but it belongs to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians who did write that book, you know what I mean, who are the real people that that book speak about. You understand? That is our record stolen from us, you know what I mean, the same way that we were stolen from our homeland. And with that said, now what we are going to do, we're going to jump straight into the class. See? Those who are on TikTok, just tap up the screen as you jump in and know the thing go. Share the live. Share it. It's a class, but you know what I mean? It's a TikTok live nonetheless. Share it. On YouTube, like, follow, share, or Slack, subscribe. See? On Facebook, do the same. Like, follow, and share. You understand? All right, so we're going to talk about the Maroons today. Specifically the Akongpong Maroons, because we have different groups of Maroons in Jamaica. But we're talking about the Akongpong Maroons. Ruled over by, I don't know if that's the word I should use still, whose leader is Chief Richard Curry. See? And the thing about our people, you know, we are looking for a savior, but we now look for a savior in the right place. See? Our people, we usually go against any movement that is against the system, which the system was not made for Black people. Let me just make that straight. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, this system is a colonial system that is a continuation of the oppressive slavery that we have experienced in this captivity. Let me just make that straight. So, naturally, our people, for the most part, we have some Uncle Toms amongst us, but naturally, our people tend to go against, to go with any movement that opposes the system. See? Which, as me say, it is not bad that you're against the system because Christ himself was against the system. You know what I mean? Hence, we always say, you know, Christ could be a Christian because Jamaica is church and state. Jamaica is a Christian state. Christ would be against this system. Christ was a rebel, a revolutionary. See? Not the white Jesus, but the Black Jesus that the Bible speak about. See? So by heart, we naturally we have to go against any system, you know what I mean, that oppress us. See? But while going against the system, be careful that you're not falling into the trap of the system. And that is very important for our people to understand because the oppressor is very cunning. You understand? He's very skilled when it comes to, you know what I mean, propaganda. When it comes to propaganda, our oppressor is very cunning and he uses our own people to lead us in the wrong direction. You understand? So you have Chief Richard Curry who does come on the scene. He come on the scene in a way where not because he have done anything, you know what I mean, groundbreaking for Black people him come on the scene as female eye candy. Like, a really female put him on the scene. Like, you know what I mean? Thirsty females and them hormones. You know what I mean? Black females. Really put him on the scene. Because I remember when him come out, I just females are lost off of him. And that's how him get popular. And that kind of help him to, you know what I mean? To reach where he is right now. But when you check the history, you know what I mean? Of the Maroons, are the group of people that call themselves Maroons. And bear in mind, this term Maroon is not coined by our people neither. It was coined by the oppressor who called them Maroons, meaning they were rebels who was going against the system. You know what I mean? So it's the oppressor who coined that term Maroon. See? So the group of people who call themselves Maroon, history does not portray them in a way that if you are looking for somebody to guide you out of oppression, the Maroons would be the opposite of that. You understand? Anybody who knows the story about the Maroons. See? So, fast forward to the Maroons, them have let me just say this. The so-called Maroons, because the people who were Maroons are the natives, what I mean, like we said, the natives of this land called Jamaica are not black people. When I say black people, I talk the Negroes that came from Britain, Scotland, and the west coast of Africa. We are not native to Jamaica. Who is native to Jamaica? The Amerindians, the Tainos, and the Arawak, you know what I mean, which would be the Hispanic and the native Indians. These are the people that were native to Jamaica. These would have been the original natives. However, where the Maroons are concerned, many Maroons were in slavery, were just the people who call themselves Maroons today, they were just regular black people who were either, as I said, captured from the west coast of Africa by the Africans and sold into slavery, or the people who fought in the Jacobite rebellion in Scotland and in England and were prisoners of war, who are the same people on the west coast of Africa and the ones that were in Scotland and England. These are the same race of people. They were not Africans, but they ended up in slavery in the native Indians' land called Jamaica, because by this time the Spanish would have already subjugated the native Indians and genocide them off. Probably not, well, let me not say probably. They never, by this time, they never genocide off everybody. But what had happened was some of the black people who were shipped here to Jamaica escaped and met up with these natives and intermarry and blend and mix. See, because the native gave them succor. These native Indians, the people them we call Hispanic today, gave them succor and shelter because we were fighting the same enemy. Lo and behold, come to realize today that we and them are the same exact race of people. But back then we never know that. It was just we facing the same oppressor. So these few black people who escaped and found themselves among the native Indians, started calling themselves, you know what I mean, started mixing themselves in, see? And the oppressor called them and the native Indians Maroons. Now, what happened is this. They started to consider themselves different from the slaves. You understand? They consider themselves to be different from the ones who did not escape. And then build their own civilization and what, you know what I mean, what have you. See? Then build their own thing, you know what I mean? But they were still at war The Spanish couldn't manage them because now you're fighting the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Israel. The Spanish couldn't manage them. And when the British overthrew the Spanish, them couldn't manage them neither. You understand? Because them learned the terrain, the hilly terrain and the bushes. You know what I mean? The native Indians teach them how to navigate. I heard a story of somebody named a native Indian called Ephraim. Was it Ephraim or Manasseh? Who used to run from the north, the eastern end of Jamaica, go straight to the western end of Jamaica. And him used to do that in a less than a day. Because he know the terrain. And him not stop, him just run. That was a native Indian. That was the tribe of Ephraim. See? Now, they knew them the hilly terrain and the bushes. So the guerrilla warfare, just like the Maccabee back in the time of the Grecian captivity. Them fight guerrilla warfare and them defeat the Spanish and maintain them freedom, and them fought against the English and still maintain them freedom. But some groups of Maroons made a treaty with the British against them own people. And the Akongpong Maroons are the primary ones, coincidentally. So that's why we tell our people this. See? Even though y'all look for a movement to follow, make sure it's not a movement that contradicts what you are trying to accomplish. We here in the ISUPK, we are the exact thing that you need. We give you your identity back. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, we tell you who you are, and we give you your records back, which is the Bible. It does not belong to the oppressor. You understand? And we give you the road to freedom, full freedom. We not talk freedom under subjugation like the Maroons. Because let me explain further the Maroons. See? The Maroons have a treaty with the British that says if any slave run away, they would have catch them. See? And bring them back into captivity. That's betrayal. That's treason against your own people. And the Maroons' history is that of treachery, betrayal, and treason against their own people. Hence the reason why you have Richard Curry today larding the crown of Britain, because in reality he's really just a subject to Britain. He's a subject of Britain, fighting against another subject of Britain in the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Zane, the Prime Minister is a subject to Britain, and Chief Richard Curry is a subject to Britain. The government and both the Maroons, are those that call themselves the Maroons, are both servants to the crown of England. You understand? Now we, the slaves, we are left in the middle. Who are we? Who is our allegiance to? Where does our allegiance lie? Is it to JLP? Is it to PMP? Is it to the Maroons? Because all three of them serve the crown in Britain. That's why we in the ISUPK, we are here to tell you that your loyalty and your, your pledge of allegiance should be to your real nation and to your real king. And our king is no white-faced man over there in England. Our king is a black man by the name of Yahawashi Mashiach, who this world called Jesus and paint him as a white man. When our records that our foreparents wrote with their own sweat and tears and with the inspiration of the God that we serve, You understand? The God that we serve and know. This record says that he's black. This record says that he's of our bloodline and that we are the chosen people of God. You understand? That is where our allegiance should lie and not in the crown. And that is why we bring up the situation about we wanting to follow some movement that goes against the system, but not doing due diligence to find out that that same movement is with the system. All right, so we're going to play a tape with Chief Richard Curry, basically rejecting, you know what I mean, half of the JDF to bring humanitarian aid into a compound town, see? And this is very irresponsible. This is why we say it's irresponsible. This community suffered devastation in Hurricane Melissa. You understand? And you are preventing your people from getting the aid that they need because, not because, that's the government, because we know that you're affiliated with the other party. True or false? Somebody tell me in the comments. We know that you are affiliated with one of the political parties, so it can't be this. The soldiers could have never been the problem. It might just be because it's the other party. See? So you are preventing your people from getting the necessary things that they need because of political affiliation. That's all it is. And in no way we are with the JLP, because if you watch the previous class that we did last Wednesday, I was accused of being, you know what I mean, the PMP. I was being accused of being a comrade because I was beating the JLP. Well, today we have beat the PMP. You see it all come full circle. You see that we are not politically affiliated. We just understand that this system is not for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the children of Israel. See? And voting will and has never helped our people. You understand? So we're going to play this tape. As on the jump in, just remember, like, share, follow, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. We are the I-Man in General YAHANNA.
Ashe. Ashe. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, on behalf of indigenous people of Akompong and the wider Maroon districts of Cockpit Country, I send sincere appreciation for your recent visit to our community and for the government of Jamaica's expression of support following the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. Your presence, accompanied by the several ministers of government, marked the first official visit of your administration to Akompong since my election in 2021, and it was warmly welcomed by our people. We remain grateful for the humanitarian gesture extended to the Akompong people and for your willingness to mobilize resources, particularly those of the JDF military, to efforts. We also acknowledge your reference on international partners, including Ethiopia, Ghana, and Rwanda, who have expressed readiness to assist in the island's rebuilding efforts. Honorable Prime Minister, following a deep, comprehensive internal review and a formal deliberation, the full Maroon Council has this time decided not to accept the offer on the militarization of the space during the recovery effort. The full Maroon Council instead has resolved to continue with the response, utilizing civilian resources from our joining communities and our partners, both locally and internationally, who have offered to the community their assistance in the recovery efforts. Instead, the Council would like to thank you for the offer on materials and would accept the offer on those materials and equipment necessary to assist in those recovery efforts. We want to ensure, Mr. Prime Minister, that harmony and inclusiveness of our maroon human resources, of those here in a compound and adjoining communities, are balanced to execute the infrastructural relief efforts across our maroon communities. This methodology aligns with our laws and cultural way of life. This decision is based also on the following considerations. 1. The established reconstruction partnerships and resources a compound has secured through international donations, through technical sponsorships, and volunteer engineering assistance sufficient to address the rebuilding and development needs arising from the hurricane. These partnerships, coordinated through the Compound Development Foundation, reflect years of relationship building, and they provide to us a structured, culturally, and aligned framework for reconstruction across the Maroon territory. The second consideration was the protection of community well-being and trauma sensitivities. As you would have recognized, our community was significantly devastated, and many of our elders, some of the women as well as children, have endured profound emotional trauma. In the aftermath, the introduction of military personnel carrying assault rifles, as we would have seen just the other day, humanitarian capacity could exacerbate and distress and cause additional distress among residents of the community. The Council believes that reconstruction conducted through civilian and community-based teams is the most appropriate path for maintaining emotional security and cultural stability at this time.
Let me ask you now a question. Can Richard Curry stop the military from going into a compound town or the police? He can't. He can't. This don't sound, it sounds strange. And I don't want to get into the whole propaganda out there or the conspiracy out there that is hiding something. See, none of that me I get that. See? But the police can enter Maroon Town as freely as them please. I mean, if a murder take place, an unalivement take place in Maroon Town or a compound town, is the JDF have to deal with it, right? If a crime committed, they might call the JDF. True or false? Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. See? But I would think that it's the JDF that deal with that, or the JCF. So, you saying that you don't welcome the aid or the help of the JDF, it sounds strange to me, because, I mean, if the Prime Minister decide that he will come in a compound town with the military, you can't stop it. Which proves, again, we show like the sovereignty where they matter about, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's no sovereignty. There's no sovereignty for the Maroons, and there's no sovereignty for the slaves. In reality, the Maroons are just slaves like we. There's no freedom here in Jamaica. You're still under the oppressor. You understand? And where's the sovereignty if you affiliate with a political party? When you claim that you live in a sovereign land given to you by our oppressor, Britain. But then when election come, you vote for, you know what I mean, the government. That's not sovereignty. That's not sovereignty. That just means you're still under the oppressive system. And the reality is there's no such thing as sovereignty. You understand? Here in Jamaica, we are all captives. You know what I mean? Our parents were captives here, and we are the children of the captives. That's all it is. But it is dangerous to give the impression that sovereignty can be accomplished. Now it seems like you found something else other than this beside, you know what I mean? Beside the system that the oppressor already put in place. And as I say, this is just the creation of the oppressor. You know what I mean? And to what extent the oppressor might want it to go, we don't know. And we should be really careful of our support for some, because we don't know some Maroons exist in Jamaica for years. You have people living in a Maroon town, but when did this Maroon thing now become like a system unto itself? When did this Maroon thing become like, you know what I mean, a pushback against the grain? Like a physical pushback. And me notice a thing, you know, where whenever them on camera, them present themselves in a way where them are going to put themselves in a problem. Them are going to put themselves in a problem. And guess what? The Most High is not with them, because them not serve the Most High. They must serve the oppressor. Just like the Christian church and Christians here in Jamaica, their God is the oppressor. And what I have noticed with the Maroons, them tie themselves with another group of people called the Moors. Because the Moors are the ones that are always talking about sovereignty and not being, you know what I mean, and not having to abide by the law that the oppressor set in the land. And you would hear Richard Curry use terms that show you that fuse with Moorish belief. And the Moors are not even our people. The Moors are Arabs, black Arabs, dark-skinned Arabs. Because, of course, we know that the Arabs were black people, but we weren't the Arabs. The Arabs used to enslave us. So, what Chief Richard Curry is doing is blending the Moor concept with the Maroon concept to give a body, to give strength and substance. You know what I mean? So that's not serving our God. So the Most High is not with them. Now what they are doing over there in Maroon Town or a compound town, I don't know, you know, that's not my problem. See, but what I would advise our people and even the Maroons to know that regardless of what you think you is, we are all from the 12 lost tribes of Israel, and we are to serve the God of our records, which are the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being our forefathers who have a covenant with our God. And there will be no sovereignty if you are serving the oppressor. The sovereignty will come when we serve our God. You understand? All on our do, I'm seeing this shaping up to be something very bad, you know. You know what I mean? Especially when you can clearly see that them don't really have. And I don't want to say them. The reality is just that, I might as well say it, outside influencer influence him and might be using him to go against, or using him as a threat against whatever our political leaders would not want to conform to. And he must be careful. He have to be careful. Me not even getting him background and so forth, but he have to be careful. Because basically what me see with him is just another tool of the oppressor. This is just another dividing factor amongst us. So you have the JLP and the PMP, and then you have the Maroons, you have Christianity, Rastafariism. And now We're going to show you, now we have the Maroons divided along political lines. You know what I mean? We're going to play that tape now. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. We are the ISUPK Jamaica under command in General Yahanna.
You can't eat food and I wait. Oh, food be nice. Oh, food be nice. You can't eat food. You can't eat food and I wait same time.
So there are people, you know, in a compound town that against Richard Curry and against the action that him take for not make the military come help them out. See? And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to defend the military. That military belongs to Britain. You know what I mean? That military is not here to really serve. But in the time of a disaster where the government would want to take shame out of them eye, the military tends to do humanitarian missions. True or false? True or false? So even though we know with the system, we know say all hands on deck are needed. But now that's in Maroon Town. See? People disagreeing with Richard Curry's decision. You understand? Why? Because they're affiliated to the next party. So now Maroon Town or a compound town divided along political lines. There's no sovereignty. It doesn't exist. It's just political dividing again. We are continuing playing this tape.
All of us have right in a Maroon Town, and because we didn't vote for Curry, that's why we are the second part people. We're not getting help like how we're supposed to get help because we didn't vote for him. So we are cast out. Richard Curry don't buy nothing, not big deal. And Richard Curry has too much $1 million. And you want to tell me say Richard Curry care about people. Richard Curry want people to live.
Somebody say treason against the state. All right. Me not care about that, you know, in terms of me not know what Jamaica law is against treason and what have you. You know what I mean? The government would have to look into that. We don't care about that. But we know that both, you know what I mean, Richard Curry and our people who, you know what I mean, serve politics, that's treason against our king, which is Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which this world called Jesus Christ. So whether him a commit treason against the state, I can't tell you. But one thing for sure, I know our people here in Jamaica commit treason against our God by serving the oppressor. And that is a bigger treason. We should come back to who we really are as a people, even though we have lost our identity here in captivity here in Jamaica. Calling ourselves Maroons only put ourselves under the oppressor again. Calling ourselves JLP, PMP is putting ourselves under the same oppressor. And as I telling you before, voting has never helped our people. The first political divide that we experienced here in Jamaica was during the late 70s and early 80s, when political gang warfare was created here in Jamaica, which eventually became the crime problem that we have today. And these same political parties are going to tell me and you that they are trying to solve crime when they created crime. You understand? Crime was created by the JLP and the PMP. There was no such thing as gang warfare here in Jamaica before the JLP and the PMP, you know what I mean, war for power during the late 70s and 80s. It never exists. The big murder rate, them where you see a record every year, did not exist. It was manufactured and created by the same political party that claims that they are trying to fight it today. If you are the problem, we need to find a different solution. These two political parties can't tell me, say, them have the solution. Then where was the solution prior, you know what I mean, or after the damage was done during them times. Where was the solution? Or is it that you haven't solved it already? Because you can't solve it because you are the problem. You know what I mean? Your implementation, your laws, your this, your that is what caused the problem. And the mindset and the serving of the oppressor, which don't want the crime to go down. Like in every black community and Hispanic community, the crime benefits the oppressor. You understand? And their solution to solving crime amongst the poor black descendants of slaves here in Jamaica is to send the police to unalive us. So we are get unalive from both ends. And it's all because of these political parties. So they can't be the solution. So treason, real treason, is serving them. Your vote is a vote against the unalivement of your own people. Each vote that our people vote is a vote for the unalivement against our own people. You understand? You're voting against progress of your own people. You're voting against the lives of your own people. And you're voting against your own freedom. That is just the fact. Or else, always our lives the same? How have things become even worse? Voting obviously don't help. It don't help. So why you vote? You vote because your granny was Labour, right? And you vote because your grandfather was PMP. You understand? It's just like how you're getting ready to celebrate Christmas again, even though Jesus never born on December 25th. It's just something where you grow up come see. And it's counterproductive to your improvement as a people. Following the ways of the oppressor. That's all you're doing. See? And all it do is distract us from what we really need. And that is our identity back. And that is what the ISUPK gives to Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We give you your true identity back, and with your identity comes your mission. Because now you know that you are God's chosen people. And now you know that you have a culture and you have laws that God gave to you. Laws that are divine, and a culture that is better than everybody else's. Now you have a mission. Now you know how to act. Now you know what to do and what not to do. And now you know what will free you and what would enslave you. And what enslaves you is your trust in this oppressor. We're going to read a scripture. See? We're going to read the book of Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. We're going to make AI read it. You know what I mean? Right. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 said, never trust your enemy. So who is your enemy? We're going to show you who your enemy is. We're going to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. See? And this is a very heavy scripture. This is something that your Christian pastor would never read in your Christian church. You know what I mean? Because them scripture here don't get you for dipping in your pocket and pay your tithes and pay your offerings. You understand? Them scripture here more wake you up to your reality. You know what I mean? Them scripture here kind of make you look on the Bible different. We're going to read Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And this is what it said. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. If you read the Bible, you would know that the Israelites never went into Egypt again. And if you do further studies like the ISUPK and a commanding general YAHANNA has done, you would know that Egypt is not the name of the land in Africa. The real name is Kemet or Mizraim in Hebrew, or Matazar. So like a Mizraim would be the name of the person in English who the land was named after. And Matazariam would be his name in Hebrew. The land never named Egypt. The word Egypt just means house of bondage. And the reason why them eventually call that land Egypt is because that is the house of bondage where we serve slavery. Our slavery was so grievous in that land that them changed the name of the land and call it slavery. House of bondage means slavery. So this is saying, let me read it again. See? The Most High will bring us into slavery again with ships. How did we come over here in Jamaica? Did we walk? Did we fly? Did we fly over here into Jamaica? Did we take the plane to come to Jamaica? Was it a cruise ship that brought us over here? We came over here on ships and slave ships. Let me continue. By the way whereof the Most High spoke unto us, we shall see it no more again. Talking about our homeland. We would see our homeland no more. We shall not see our homeland no more again. Let's continue. And there we shall be sold unto our enemies. Were we sold here in Jamaica? Were we sold here in Jamaica? Were we sold in Haiti? Were we sold in Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago? Were we sold in North America? So the Most High say we shall go into slavery again with ships and we'll be sold. Who that happened to? That happened to us. And this at this time, the Most High, through Moses, was speaking to the children of Israel. So who are we today? Who, all right, can you tell me any nation of people that went into slavery by the means of slave ships? Is there any race of people beside us that went into slavery by the means of slave ship? You can't tell me none. I mean, you have the transatlantic slave trade is the biggest event that took place in history, and it's our history. It's we going into slavery through the transatlantic slave trade, and slave trade was done by ships, was carried out by ships. That's the biggest thing that ever happened in the entire history of the earth, different from when Yahawashi came and different from the flood. You have three events that is, you know what I mean, so glorious, big events that took place on this earth. And one of them is our history. And that is what the Bible is bringing out. We were sold into slavery by the means of slave ships. Let's continue reading. We will be sold unto our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Bond means bondage, which means slave men and slave women. Weren't we, sir, didn't we came across in ships sold as slave men and slave women? That's nobody else's history but ours. We are the only people on this face of this earth. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the only people that relate to the Bible. And you should never say that this is a white man's book ever again, because the white man cannot relate to nothing with this thing you said. Only us. It belongs to us. Why should it be far-fetched that is ours? He stole everything that we created. We created the internet. Did you know that? Did you know that a black person created the internet, but a white person get the credit? We should have followed the pattern by now and know that everything that belongs to us, them steal it. The same way them steal we. Didn't they stole us? So why wouldn't they steal our records as well and call it something else? But listen, this is very important. This is the part that I am trying to explain. See who our enemy is. Listen. We would be sold unto our enemies. Who were we sold to? Can anybody in the chat just tell me who were we sold to? Whether upon YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, the three platforms that we are streaming on now. Please Who were we sold to during the transatlantic slave trade? Anybody? Because when you tell me the people who we were sold to, the Bible call them people that were enemy. Don't be shy, man. Don't love the white man. Take your head out of the white man's. You know what I mean? Slovakia. Be honest. Who were we sold to over here? Don't be shy. Don't be a Christian for once. For once, don't be a Christian. For once, don't be a JLP and a PMP, as if that they for your birth paper. For once, don't be a maroon and some, you know what I mean, Rastafarian nut. Just tell the truth for once. Who were we sold to over here? Anybody? Who were we sold to? Nobody no member. You can't believe this. Nobody no member. You see how convenient it is when it comes to, you know what I mean, our people have to give up the foolishness that we learn over here and the things that we have adopted. How quick we forget who our enemies are. Nobody no member. Everybody we are type, stop type. We were sold to our enemies, and we know that that enemy is the white man. Stop beat around the bush. Don't beat around the bush. Exactly. Ricky I free. Zin, a right I free. Said the white boy. Exactly. So the God in the Bible that you call the white man book is telling you that the white man is the enemy. It can't be a white man book no more. That gone through the window. The lies where the Rastafari and them tell you. Gone through the window now. Apparently the white man is the enemy. So the white man would write that. So who wrote that? Who wrote that? We wrote that. Our foreparents wrote that. See, let me jump back to Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. This is what it said. Never trust thy what? So who's our enemy? The Bible, Deuteronomy said, you shall be sold unto your enemy. And Ecclesiasticus said, never trust your enemy. We know who we were sold to, but do we know who we should not trust? So if we were sold to the white man and the Bible call him an enemy, and then Ecclesiasticus said, don't trust your enemy, who shouldn't we trust? We shouldn't trust the white boy. We shouldn't trust the white man. Chief Richard Curry, trust in Britain. Trust in the oppressor. He trusts our enemies, and so does the JLP and the PMP. You understand? And you voting confirms that you trust your enemy. But the Most High gave us, He gave us the blueprint. Look here, man. If you want to survive in the earth, yeah, never trust your enemy. Who is your enemy? You shall be sold to that enemy. That's the white man. Never trust the white man. You can't trust him. And our people know, because the Israelis them came to Jamaica to give medical support during the time of the disaster. And our people, they on the internet, I say, don't trust them up to something. And they are right. Those fake Jews, them up to something, of course. We should never trust our enemy. So why we can't just take it all away? Why we can't just bring it straight home and don't trust the enemy, regardless whether it be voting, whether it be maroons and that sovereignty foolishness and this, you know what I mean? This thing about we having a treaty with the British. Why don't we just all out don't trust the enemy? How about not trusting the enemy so much that we don't trust the Christmas when give it? And the Easter and the Valentine's Day. God said we not to trust him, but we trust him with everything else. Why is that? We are turning a blind eye to the enemy who have been destroying us for so long, having treaties with the enemy. When the Most High say, make no covenant with them, let me find that scripture. The Most High have been trying to wise us up for thousands of years. But because we're red eye and we're licky as a people and we stiff neck, we always go against the Most High. When the Most High never want this oppression for we, you know. The Most High wanted us to be the head and not the tail. You understand? And this is usually because of our leaders. It's always with leaders them who direct us down the wrong path. See? Let me find that scripture. We'll jump to Exodus 23 and 32. And this is what it said. Right. Make no covenant with them nor with their gods. See, you making covenant with, you know what I mean, this oppressor are the heathens, specifically the white man we are talking about today. It results in you serving his God. Who is the oppressor's God today? It's not the God of the Bible. It's the God of Christianity, that white Jesus. See? That is the covenant that our people make. You know what I mean? That comes with the covenant that our people make with these heathens. When you make a covenant with the heathens, it eventually turns out or works out to you serving them God. The Most High said, don't make no covenant with them. What is a covenant? Covenant, an agreement, a treaty. You understand? And no care how you disguise it as you being Moors, you still go back in serving the gods of the heathens, because the Moors are Arabs, them serve Allah. So it always work out in you serving somebody else's God. When the nigger God in the Bible, the black man God, where everybody the teach and trick you, say, is the white man write the Bible? All this time the Bible have been talking about a black God and a black Christ. You turn from that and you're going to serve the Arabs God and you're going to serve the white man God in Christianity. And because we have poor leaders now, we turn back on the Bible, thinking that the Bible support nothing at all that the Christian church teaches. The Bible completely speaks against Christianity, but you have never read it, and that's the problem. You didn't take the time to read. That's why we encourage you, get inside them classes, and like classes like you know what I mean, like your life depend on the line. Because nobody ever teach you the Bible. The Christian church do not teach the Bible. The Christian church don't teach the Bible. Them teach Christianity and the oppressor's will, which is what? White supremacy. Christianity is white supremacy. May I raise with a Seventh-day Adventist Saturday. See? Somebody said to the Seventh-day Adventist as him a come from church. See? Him say something about, we don't believe in our Jesus, rare, and the Seventh-day Adventist start, you know what I mean, blast him back. And I say, we don't believe in a race too much, rare, this race thing and rare. When the Bible is all about race. That's all the Bible talk about. Race. And that God have a chosen people, which is a race of people, which are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the same race. This Christian never know, because him no read, him no know the Bible. See? Then watch this now. Then me I say, but the Bible say Jesus black. I'm sure him say the Bible say Jesus black, and the Bible say Solomon black. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, Solomon call himself black. And God is described as being black. And he must say, no, but it's not about race and red. And I say, show me a quarterly. If any 7-day Adventists in the chat, them know what I talk about. What is a quarterly? The quarterly is that book that them give the 7-day Adventists to study, to brainwash them. Every quarter, every 3 months, them get a new quarterly. See? Me say, show me a quarterly. Him refuse, him don't want to show me quarterly because him know me I get that. Him know where me I allude to. Because in him same quarterly, Jesus is portrayed as being white. So race matter to somebody. Race matter to your Christian church. Because every time them show you Jesus, them show you him as a white man. So stop this foolishness about race don't matter. Because it matter to Christianity. Even though the doctrine says race don't matter, a picture speaks 1,000 words. You know what I mean? Like you try to take somebody for fool, you tell them one thing and do the next. It just means that in the Christian church, our people are being very gullible and naive and being manipulated by words. But the actions of Christianity proves that it supports white supremacy. And you should expect that because what? Christianity is the white man's religion. It belongs to the white man. But the Bible says something different. And that is where you need to make the difference between the Bible and the church. See? That we want our people come to. So we're going to continue playing some more of this tape. See? So basically, a compound town is divided amongst political lines now. JLP against PMP, and it's all because of who is not getting this and who is not getting that. And you know what I mean? The military, the governing factor in Chief Richard Curry, he fears the military coming into a compound town because he thinks he have real power in a compound town, and that's not the case. That's all in his mind. Let's continue.
That's appalling. Tell the government can't send in JDS coming and keep your material. Don't give them no material because they live on their chapaling because the chapaling. Mr. Prime Minister, we don't need no light, no water, no hospital, no passport to go America, but those and nothing coming here. Yes, those and no electricity. No JDS give no electricity.
So no, they must say, so this is the JLP factor now, you know, I speak out against Richard Curry. They might say, don't send nothing else. If you know want to soldier them, don't give back no light, don't give back nothing, don't give no water, nothing. So you see how political, you know what I mean, affiliation is evil. Now they are willing to deprive the entire community. One second. So now they are willing to deprive the entire community because them support a different political party. And Chief Richard Curry is depriving the entire community because him support a different party. This is what political affiliation does. It divides us. And it makes we can't come together. You understand?
Them go get current. Everybody will work up here. We are left out of the community go work. The government pay them Richard Curry up like nobody in here. Nobody now no pay for Richard Curry up here. Everybody will work up and government pay them. Everybody will work up here. Government.
So you hear what she said? Everybody will work in a compound town. A government pay them. Because no employment in a compound town. It would be good, you know, if black people could have come together, you know, Zane, and provide, be self-sufficient and independent. You know what I mean? And not to rely upon the government or use the government to benefit black people. But that now go on in our compound town, obviously. So what she has said is, everybody who earn because of government, not because of Richard Curry, which means there's no unity in a compound town. There's no brotherhood and no sisterhood. See? And that's why the ISUPK and the command in general here, and we emphasize brotherhood and sisterhood. See? And we reject the oppressor. Because once the oppressor get involved, guess what happen? You have divide. We never can come together. Just like Ecclesiasticus, you know what I mean, 12 and 10 say, 28, Slakia, 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. This is where you get where you put your trust in your enemy. Chief Richard Curry trust in the PMP and them trust in the JLP. That's the oppressor. That's the white man system. You understand? Let me continue playing it.
They pay their calendar, Richard Curry. Richard Curry, they pay another JVF has been coming here for a long while. Years, JVF come here, go camp out in our community, and the children, them love it. Yes, you come on my road,
So now you have them go against one another. So who support Chief Richard Curry and the PMP I come defend Chief Richard Curry decision. And then now you have the people them turn on Chief. It's just division. You know what I mean? No unity, no unite. And it always go that way there, you know. When you have political divide, some people are going to get and some people not going to get. That is always the case. You see, once you have politics involved, some people are going to get, some people not going to get. Why? Because them support one party and them don't support the next party. There's always going to be a bias because of who you politically affiliate with. See? That's just politics. And that's the evil that comes with politics because politics just divide our people. So does religion. Religion divide our people. Politics, religion, you know what I mean, and other things where the oppressor set up. A time now, if we rise above them thing there, see that them thing that don't benefit us as a people, put them aside and turn to our true identity as the children of Israel. We are not Moors and we are not Maroons. Maroon is a term created by the oppressor to say that we are rebels. You know what I mean? We are going against the system. And then to know, call yourself that is like calling yourself, you know what I mean? It's like you're calling yourself a derogatory term. You understand? So we are not the Maroons. We are the 12 lost tribes of Israel, God's chosen people. That is who we are. And the Maroon is not different from the regular black people here in Jamaica. They are not better and they are not worse. We are all in this captivity together, and we are all going to get out of it together, and we're going to suffer it together. Nobody are going to free and have sovereignty and the next set, you know what I mean, under oppression and slavery. And that is the reason why you see a Compound Town as just as divided as Kingston Town. Just as divided as, you know what I mean, Spanish Town. Because we all serve the same captivity. And the only way to come out of this captivity is to turn back to our power, our God. You understand? Keep his laws. Don't create no new law about, you know what I mean, your sovereignty and you create new laws, you govern outside because you think you're free. You're not free. And the government might them are gonna show him sooner than later say him don't have no sovereignty. And he better be careful who's the hands them where the puppet masters behind him, because he might just draw the people them down in a compound town in some chaos and problem with them. No, him not free. This is a facade. There's no such thing as no sovereign leader here in Jamaica. The government no sovereign. The government no sovereign. Britain rule Jamaica. You understand? Britain rule Jamaica. The government no sovereign itself. So how Chief Richard Curry was sovereign? And especially when he pledged allegiance to Britain. There's no such thing. Chief Richard Curry claiming sovereignty is claiming that Britain gave freedom to black people here in Jamaica. And that's a lie. They didn't. Why is land here in Jamaica crown land, called crown land? Jamaica belongs to Britain. There's no such thing as sovereignty under this oppressor. Freedom can't be begged for. You can't beg for freedom from an oppressor. How do you get freedom from a tyrant? You can't beg it. You have to fight for it. You have to take it by force. So we are not free because we never fight and win nothing. We never fight and win nothing. Which war we go with the British and win? And defeat Britain and run them out of the country. And you see them political parties still rule the country. And them representative in the Governor General is the head of state. Come on, man. We can do better than this, man. We need to come out of the, you know what I mean, the low frequency way of thinking. Like, yeah, man, we're sovereign because back in the 1800s, you know what I mean, some maroon would sign a treaty with the devil. You think the devil are going to uphold the treaty? Then why Andrew Holness in a power then, if he uphold treaty? Why Andrew Holness can still send police into a compound town? And why Andrew Holness is the servant of the crown, the same crown where you claim say you have, you know, you and Andrew Holness on the same team. You're not the same. You serve the same master. And you know this what Christ said about that. You can't serve two masters. You either go love one or hate the other. So you can't love God and serve the oppressor. So this is just foolishness. All of this is just like Rastafariism. Just plain madness. It makes no sense. You understand? And that is why we in the ISUPK, we give your history back. We tell you, we show you what true freedom is, and freedom is not you know what I mean, making no treaty with no oppressor. As I said, you can't beg for freedom. Freedom have to be taken by force. And usually, when you get freedom, the oppressor or the aggressor now becomes the victim. Is always the case. When you fight for freedom, you have to overthrow your oppressor. This is not a fairy tale madness like we're in a Chief Richard Curry head. So-called sovereignty that does not exist. In order for you to be free, your oppressor have to be oppressed by you, or you who are oppressed have to now be the ruler. You're the person who is oppressing you have to now serve you. The table have to turn, and the table have not turned. We are living in delusion here in Jamaica. We don't even realize we're still in a slavery. We're still in a slavery. We're in a delusion. A sister on the internet said it so wonderfully. She said our parents were kidnapped by the oppressor. Zane, and them have children. And we are those children. And we are still in the hands of the oppressor. we're still in a slavery. You can't tell me nothing. The maths just not math sin if you ever say we're doing a slavery. You are delusional. Maybe you just want to ignore it and say, all right, me not care. That's okay. But to say we're not in a slavery, that's delusional. We're still under the oppressor. Nothing has changed. We have not become rulers of our own destinies. Never. Since we're over here. Never. Which means what? Which means what, Chief Richard Curry? It means you're still a slave. You understand? We're going to read one more scripture and then we're going to close off the class. Zin? And this is a very important scripture. We're going to read the book of Deuteronomy 17 and 15. We're going to make AI read it.
Deuteronomy 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee.
Let's read that again.
Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose.
Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. God, the Most High, our power. Then, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we set him king over us, who him choose. Him have to choose a king. And our king is a black man named Yahawashi Mashiach. No care which generation we live in, him our king. We don't serve King Charles. We don't serve Donald Trump. See? We serve Yahawashi, and this world ignorantly call him Jesus and paint him as a white man when he considers white people to be dogs. And that's in the Bible. See? Let's continue reading.
Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee.
Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee. Richard Curry set King Charles over the people in a Akankpong town. And him go further. See? Him do it in 2 years by upholding that fake treaty back in the 1800s, claiming that they had some agreement with the British. That's one. And two, by supporting a political party set up by the same British. See? So him double down. Him support them wholeheartedly, thus setting a stranger over him people, and so-called people. You know what I mean? King Charles and the British, they are strangers to us. You understand? Let me continue.
Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
Right. Anybody who should rule over us should be one of our brothers. See? And that brother is Yahawashi Mashiach. Throughout all our lifetime. Nobody else. If them ask you, who are your king? Tell them Yahawashi. Or who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, which is a black man from the tribe of Judah. He is our king, whether they are now or not. You understand? No King Charles is our king. No King Trump can be our king. No King Selassie can be our king. You understand? Only one from among our brethren, our brother, our blood brother, and that's a black man with the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. And with that, we'll close out the class. If we don't have any question, feel free, you know what I mean, because when you can, you know what I mean, we appreciate when the input. Just say what you have to say. If you don't have questions, I'll be happy to answer it. You know the thing go. In the meanwhile, Somebody say, Sonny Dan say, blessed I, you are one of the only real Rasta living. Me and a Rasta still. Me appreciate the kind words most in Christ, but me and a Rasta, we actually teach that Rastafariism is a lie. See? We are the Israelites. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. But thanks for your kind words, brother. See? If anybody have no questions, just feel free to throw it in the chat. You know what I mean? Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whichever. See? All right, so we have Sister Yakwar who left a comment. She says, Shalom, Yahushua Alatan Barak, and Basham Yahushai. Yakwar tuning in from my slave. Shalom, sis. Yahushua Alatan Basham Yahushai, sis. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So with that, we're going to jump to the security announcements. Lady Queen say good night. Good night, sis. Ancient Booty Queen say, our Beauty Queen, I'm not sure which thing that what should I say. But Ancient Beauty Queen, I call it Beauty Queen. See? Are there any scholars I can read about the history of Jamaica? Yeah. If you want, all right, you see the National Library in Spanish Town, that's where you can get the true history of Jamaica. But like basic history that is out there already, like for example, the history of the Maroons. You can just type that in a Google. You have books about it, you know what I mean? You can Google the books and things, you know what I mean? There's a lot of information out there, especially in this time. See? Or you can just get inside the ISUPK and, you know what I mean, we'll teach you. You know what I mean? All right. Sonny Dan say, you uphold the realness and the truth. I enough respect. All right. Yeah, man. Big up yourself, man. Most I in Christ. You know what I mean? And all of that is all because of the ISUPK. You know what I mean? Before the ISUPK, me never know nothing. You know what I mean? Me never know about history. You never know them. Me never care. Me even like history. But now me get to love it, and now me know a lot of our history. You know what I mean? And the main history I learn is the history of the Bible, what it is, where it come from, and who it's speaking about. You know what I mean? And the lies that were told about the Bible. See? So we gain a lot of knowledge here in the ISUPK. So much knowledge that, you know what I mean, we can educate even the Prime Minister as a ghetto youth. See? That's why we encourage ghetto youth to get inside the ISUPK, because I knowledge this system use and beat with. You know what I mean? And if you notice, me not change up my demeanor. Me not pretend like me a one church boy or me work in an office. I'm just a regular ghetto youth. But the knowledge when we learn at the ISUPK, the Prime Minister do not have. You understand? And the Prime Minister, if me supposed to speak to the Prime Minister right now, he would have to be a subordinate to me right now. And that's no joke. You understand? So that's why we implore our brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, just link up with the ISUPK, learn the history, and let us all get out of this captivity, isn't it? All right, with that, we're going to jump to the security announcements. See? All right, so these are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes inside the school, they are to be, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. So tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers, 18 and 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, and is pronounced Mahishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or our teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you'd like. So, all right, go over to ISUPK.com, pay your tithes, and we can't emphasize it enough. You know what I mean? This helps us to give relief to our brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, down there in St. Elizabeth, Hanover, wherever it's needed. It helps us to do food and clothing drive. If you research the ISUPK, you know what I mean, food drive and clothing drive, you will see a ton load of, you know what I mean, different food drives that we do. You know what I mean? That is what we are known for. One of the things that we are known for, you understand? And one of the things that Command in general, YAHANNA prides himself in doing, because, you know what I mean, Christ said to Peter, Peter, feed my flock. And Command in general, YAHANNA does that. See? So that's why we implore our people, pay your tithes. You know what I mean? All right, so upcoming Holy Convocation. So we have the Feast of HANUKKAH coming up. And this is Sunday coming. You know what I mean? We have a live, we have a all right, we might not restream it, but ISUPK Durham, North Carolina, and ISUPK online class will definitely have it. Zane? So what I'll implore you to do is to subscribe to, well, every ISUPK page, but these page in particular, if you want to tune in to these holy days, this holy day. See, the world have some different thing with them called holiday, but the Most High gave us holy days in the Bible, which would have been our holidays. You know what I mean? Which we keep. You know what I mean? And if you notice, the Christian church keep none of these holy days in the Bible. None. Them keep Christmas, which is pagan. Them keep Easter, which is pagan. Them keep Valentine's Day, which is pagan, and the worship of some God-forsaken pagan God. But them don't keep nothing in the Bible, like the Feast of HANUKKAH or the Feast of Dedication. You know what I mean? So this is the point we are trying to make about Christianity, that Christianity don't have nothing to do with the Bible. See? And just the oppressor's way of trying to distract you from actually following the Bible. You see? So watch this now. So the Feast of Tabernacles, like the Feast of Dedication, or HANUKKAH in the Hebrew, is the 12th, like the 25th day of the 9th month. You know what I mean? By the space of 8 days. So it goes on for 8 days. See? And the oppressor's calendar is Sunday the 14th of December. So it starts this Sunday. See? For 8 days. So it will end Monday. Right? The following Monday. See? You can find the Feast of HANUKKAH in 1 Maccabees 4 and 52 to 61. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So the book of Maccabees, 1st and 2nd, that in the Apocrypha, you know what I mean? Those are the books that the Catholic Church try to get out of the Bible, take it out, because it reveals too much information. See? You know what I mean? To make a long story short. So with that, we are gonna do a secure we're gonna do a courtesy salute. We have Israel, Imadium Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shabraka Thumb. We're gonna give the sisters one courtesy salute as well. We have Israel, Imadium Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Ala Thumb, Basham Yahweh Shai. Yalamata, class dismissed. Slack here. Let me finish reading this. So reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. So now if a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, is to start wearing all black. You know what I mean? From black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and even your war scarf. See? So now if you want to be a part of the school, now you have to watch the classes or attend the classes in all black. You understand? So give us a call. We'll let you know how to attend classes. All right? And with that, shalom. And also sisters as well. You know what I mean? We welcome our sisters as well. Brothers and sisters. We want princesses and we want warriors. You know what I mean? So get inside the ISUPK. See? Shalom.
One West. I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We work hard in a life, hustle every day and all in a night. Man a hunt for the goal and a dig it in a road and a live no life. I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. Right now me a seek time for myself and me a shell down some party. Be stressed. Me a look for a recess. For me brain me a refresh. This a game me a reset. Move to that girl inna the beach dress. The body a roller, she a the neatest. She nah no man, nah that a the weakness. So me the in her ears, but not like a real pest. Nah, just a move with a vibe. Because we a poor, the mood is alive. If you do 9 to 5, I know you a get rich, you do realize. I'm sorry, me need a break, I'm sorry. Right now we are poor, kulu rump on NC with Campari. That is it. Move to that girl, let the body tick. What is it? You know see me attack loud the politics. Watch it twist. No one see no ratchet flick, no matic click. No negative energy, a positive. One way I keep the peace and no magic trick. We are dance till in icon. We are groove, we are vibe. And no care, no fear right off. Make it on with your life. Me say, me no want see you leave yet. Me no want see you depressed. We are party for de-stress. We work hard in a life. Hustle every day and all in a night. Man a hunt for the goal and I mash up the road and I live no life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Me stress. Me a look for a recess. For me brain me a refresh. This a game me a reset. Move to that girl inna the peach dress. The body a roller, she a the neatest. She nah no man, so that a the weakness. So me the inna it here, that a no real test. Nah. Yeah, yeah.